The outpost wasn't supposed to have anything alive inside it. According to the star charts, the place had been abandoned for 3 centuries, which in engineering terms meant either everything was broken or everything was being held together by stubbornness and dust. I like those odds. Dead stations didn't complain when you opened them up, and they definitely didn't try to charge docking fees. I was halfway through rerouting a power conduit that clearly hadn't been designed by anyone who'd ever needed to reach it, when my scanner chirped. Not a warning. Not a threat. A soft, uneven signal, organic, weak, and annoyingly persistent. I sighed, wiped grease on my sleeve, and followed the signal down a narrow corridor that smelled like overheated insulation and regret. That's when I saw her. She was slumped against the wall, tall even while sitting, all soft curves and sleek fur the color of burnished copper. Long vulpine ears twitched faintly, like she was trying to listen through pain. Her breathing was shallow, her eyes half-lidded, and the suit she wore was scorched along the seams, flickering with unstable energy. Whatever had gone wrong, it had gone wrong thoroughly. "Hey," I said, keeping my voice calm. "Don't try to move. You're, running a little hot." Her eyes focused on me, sharp and bright despite everything. "My systems are failing," she said, voice low and strained. "The core won't stabilize." Of course it wouldn't. Alien tech never stabilized unless you threatened it or hit it with the right tool. I crouched a respectful distance away, hands raised so she could see them. "Okay. We'll take this slow. Where's the access panel?" Her tail flicked once, then stilled. "Lower torso," she said. "But only if you know what you're doing." I snorted before I could stop myself. "Lady, if I didn't know what I was doing, I'd already be dead 3 times over." I glanced at the suit, tracing the seams with my eyes. The design was elegant, almost organic, but whoever built it had clearly assumed the wearer would never need field repairs. "I'm going to open this up. It might feel strange." She let out a breath that sounded suspiciously like a hum. "Everything already does." I disengaged the locks, careful not to jolt the suit. Heat spilled out immediately, waves of it washing over my hands. "Yeah, you're overheating. Core's probably cycling too fast." I adjusted a regulator, fingers moving on instinct. "Try to stay still." "I'll try," she murmured, though her shoulders shifted anyway, tension rippling through her frame. As I worked, I muttered to myself, cataloging problems. Power flow misaligned. Stabilizer off by a hair. Internal feedback loop screaming for attention. "Whoever set this up," I said, "didn't leave much room for human hands." Her eyes flicked to my fingers. "You seem to fit just fine." "Story of my life," I replied, tightening a coupling. The moment I did, the suit's hum dropped an octave. The heat eased. Her ears perked up, and a low sound escaped her throat before she could stop it. "That's better," she said, voice thickening. "Don't stop now." I paused, gave her a look. "I wasn't planning to." I went back to work, adjusting the stabilizer in small, careful increments. Every change got a reaction, her breathing evening out, her posture loosening, the suit's lights shifting from angry red to something more cooperative. "Your core keeps spiking whenever I touch this," I said. "I'm going to apply steady pressure. Consistent. No sudden movements." She swallowed. "Human technique is different." "Efficient," I corrected. "We like things that respond when you actually handle them." I leaned in, bracing my elbow, keeping my grip firm but controlled. The feedback smoothed instantly, like the system had been waiting for exactly that. Her tail flicked again, slower this time. "You have good control." "Years of practice," I said dryly. "Most problems calm down if you don't panic and you don't let go too soon." A warning indicator blinked, then faded. The suit's internal temperature normalized, and the power flow aligned itself without further complaint. I exhaled, only then realizing I'd been holding my breath. "There we go. Core stabilized." She looked at me like I'd just performed a miracle. "No one's ever adjusted it like that." "Yeah, well," I said, wiping my hands. Humans are good with hands-on solutions. I started to disengage, but her fingers closed gently around my wrist. Not tight. Just enough to make a point. If you pull away too fast, she said softly, the system might relapse. I frowned, checked the readings. They were steady, but... All right. Another minute. I kept my hand where it was, maintaining the pressure. The suit responded by purring. Literally purring. I blinked. Is it supposed to do that? She smiled, sharp and knowing. It means it's operating optimally. Good, I said, choosing not to unpack that. Optimal is what we want. When I finally withdrew, the suit remained stable. She straightened slowly, testing her weight, eyes bright and focused now. Alive. More than alive, really. Energized. Looks like you're out of danger, I said. You should rest. I'll finish my repairs and... The station lights flared to life around us. Consoles activated down the corridor, screens blooming with data that hadn't existed a moment ago. My scanner went wild, chirping alerts I'd never seen before. I stared at it. Huh. That's new. Her smile widened, just a fraction. It seems my systems were not the only ones waiting for proper alignment. I looked from her to the awakening station, then back again. What exactly were you doing in an abandoned outpost? She rose to her full height, graceful and composed, every trace of weakness gone. Testing, she said. Compatibility. Endurance. Adaptability. My stomach sank. Testing what? She stepped closer, close enough that I could feel the warmth she no longer struggled to contain. The galaxy, she said, was designed for operators who could stabilize chaos with their own hands. I laughed once, short and incredulous. You've got the wrong guy. Her eyes glowed softly. On the contrary, she purred. You handled me perfectly. The heat in the suit had settled, but the tension didn't. I was still kneeling, fingers tracing fine conduits and adjusting tiny regulators, trying not to overthink why a simple alignment had me sweating under my own sleeves. Every time I tightened a coupling, she made a sound that could mean satisfaction, or panic. Or maybe she was just amused. I decided not to ask. Professionals don't ask. They just work. Don't stop, she murmured, voice low, teasing, carrying a weight I didn't understand. Keep the pressure consistent. I muttered under my breath, leaning closer, adjusting the stabilizer again. Consistent is good. Consistent keeps things from melting down. The lights around her flickered, then steadied, as if acknowledging my words. A series of chirps erupted from the corridor outside. I glanced up. Not warnings. Observers. Aliens. A mix of shapes and sizes, all frozen at the threshold. One drone tilted its head, its optics narrowing in disbelief. A guard with metallic limbs seemed ready to intervene, though its hands hovered nervously. She let a human do this? One hissed, voice flat and mechanical. Just fixing her, I said, waving a hand casually. Nothing ceremonial. The guard's jaw, or equivalent, dropped. The drone buzzed. A translator somewhere sputtered under the overload of misunderstanding. Apparently, humans were not supposed to touch rulers, let alone operate core systems with such confidence. Her tail flicked slowly, a subtle indicator of amusement. They don't understand, she said. Few do. I glanced at her. Don't worry. I'm not here to dominate anything. Just calibrate. She purred softly. You dominate perfectly without trying. I froze. Excuse me? Your hands, your approach. Everything. Unexpected. Effective. I ignored the comment, continued adjusting conduits. Every tool, every touch, made her system respond better than anyone else's had in centuries. My improvisation, the way I bent protocol rules, somehow synced with her circuits, her neural cores, her internal stabilizers. Steady. That's it. Don't falter, she murmured, voice thick with something I didn't want to name. The suit pulsed under my fingers, humming in response to my touch. A third observer stepped forward, a thin, elegant being with multiple limbs. Its voice quivered. She usually collapses under the standard maintenance routine. No one, human or otherwise, has ever achieved this. I'm just following the manual, I said, though there was no manual. Mostly instinct, lots of guesswork. You should try it sometime. She tilted her head, watching me closely. Humans are adaptable. Yeah, well, I said, keeping my tone dry. We have to be. Most things break faster than we can run away. Her ears twitched, her tail wrapped around one of the stabilizer rods like it belonged there. You're the only one who could handle my systems without failure. Everyone else is too gentle. Or too timid. Gentle? I repeated. I'm not gentle. I just apply the right amount of force. She made a soft sound, something between amusement and approval. Force. Control. Endurance. You understand the balance better than anyone I've tested. I glanced at the blinking monitors. Core temperature steady. Flow alignment perfect. Power loops normalized. Every system responding to my improvisation as if it had been waiting centuries for human hands. By the way, I said, trying to sound casual, you're making this sound way more dramatic than it is. Her lips curved slightly. I'm telling the truth. You've never realized how few can handle me. Most fail, and the consequences are unpleasant. I tilted my head. Consequences like what? Warning lights? Annoyed drones? Worse, she said softly. System collapse. Instability. Exhaustion. Pain. And embarrassment. Glad to see I'm covering all bases, then. I adjusted one last panel. The suit vibrated, low and steady. She drew a breath that sounded like relief, or something deeper, and leaned back, testing her strength. Perfect, she said. Optimal performance. Thank you. I smirked. Happy to help. Humans are thorough. Her tail flicked again. Thorough. Efficient. Capable. Adaptable. You are remarkable. I chuckled, fingers tracing one last stabilizer line. Thanks. I aim to be. Outside, the alien observers were still staring, silent but clearly scandalized. I waved. Everything's fine. No one explode. I'm a professional. She hummed in response, eyes sparkling. Professional, and uniquely suited to the galaxy's design. I frowned. Wait. What? Humans, she said softly, leaning closer, are the only species capable of stabilizing me, and by extension my systems. The galaxy was never meant to be operated by anyone else. I froze, realizing the scale of what I'd done, but instinct and stubbornness wouldn't let me panic. You're telling me I just ran the galaxy? She purred again, that low vibration reverberating through the suit. Accidentally? And perfectly, I muttered, rubbing the back of my neck. Well, that's a Monday for you. Her eyes glinted with amusement. We'll need more time together. Maintenance sessions. Calibration. Testing. Protocols. I blinked. Right. More work. Of course. Don't worry, I'm professional. She smiled, tail flicking lazily around one of the conduits. Yes. Professional, but uncommonly skilled. I gave a small shrug, already rolling up my sleeves. Guess I'll just have to live up to that then. The station hummed around us, lights stabilizing, monitors blinking, the galaxy itself seeming to respond to my touch. I glanced at her, exasperated but impressed, and muttered, I don't even get paid enough for this. She leaned back, relaxed, the picture of controlled chaos now entirely in my hands. Pay? You're priceless. I grinned, fingers flexing over the tools again. Well, let's see how long I can keep everything from overheating. The station thrummed under my hands, more alive than I expected anything abandoned for centuries could be. Consoles flickered to life with a soft cascade of lights, wires humming as if welcoming attention. Every panel I touched seemed to respond instantly, routing power where it hadn't been in a millennium. I muttered under my breath, amazed. Who designed this junk? Whoever did, they were asking for a human to show up. She stood beside me, tail flicking lazily, eyes following every adjustment. It's rare, she said, voice smooth and teasing, for anyone to interface so effectively with my systems. Effective? I'm just poking around until things don't explode, I replied, adjusting a misaligned power loop. The lights on her suit pulsed in perfect rhythm with my adjustments, as if the station itself were attuned to my touch. Poking around is efficient, she said softly, letting the words hang, deliberately ambiguous. You don't hesitate, don't second guess. Most fail because they overthink. I shrugged, trying to act casual while my heart rate did a slow climb. We like improvising. Most problems break down faster than we do, so you either adapt or melt down. I gave a tiny twist to a coupling, and the suit shivered slightly, a response too precise to be accidental. Her ears twitched, and the low hum of her system deepened. Endurance. Precision. Adaptability. You have them all. Humans are exceptional. I laughed, dry and nervous. Exceptional at handling hot, sensitive machinery. That's about it. She tilted her head, smile small but knowing. You've activated more than the station's core. You've synchronized it. With yourself. I paused. Synchronized with myself? Yes. Your hands, your timing, your insistence. Everything responds as if designed for you. She stepped closer, deliberately brushing a hand along the stabilizer I was working on. Few species can operate with such finesse. You handle me naturally. I swallowed, fumbling slightly. Right. Natural. Sure. I straightened, stepping back to check readings. The core temperature stable, power loops aligned, monitors steady. Everything under control. All thanks to human stubbornness and bad habits. Do you understand? She asked softly, almost purring. You're compatible. With me. With the systems. With everything. I blinked. Compatible how? Like a technician? She leaned in, tail brushing my leg, tone teasing yet commanding. Technician? No. Operator. Primary. One who can stabilize me without hesitation. Without error. Without fear. I swallowed hard. Stabilize you without fear? You make that sound ominous. She chuckled softly, a sound low and vibrating. It is for most. For you, it is effortless. I muttered, fingers flexing around the tools. Effortless, huh? That's one way to put it. My mind raced as I realized the full implication. Every adjustment I made, every careful touch, wasn't just fixing her, it was activating systems I didn't even understand. Lights across the station pulsed, subroutines whirred, and the consoles displayed data streams that made zero sense to anyone who hadn't grown up wiring panels and forgotten outposts. You've stabilized more than my suit, she whispered. You've stabilized me. My protocols. My authority. You. She paused, letting the words sink. You are now the only one capable of operating the galaxy alongside me. I blinked, disbelief hitting in waves. Wait, operating the galaxy? Yes, she said softly, letting her words linger with a weight I hadn't anticipated. Every system I command, every protocol, every safeguard, it now responds to you as if you were designed to handle it. Humans, you are compatible. I groaned, rubbing my forehead. Of course. Just my luck. Fix a suit, accidentally inherit control of an entire civilization. She laughed, low and melodic, brushing a hand along my shoulder. Lucky? Perhaps. Deserving? Definitely. You passed every test. Endurance, adaptability, precision. Most species fail at the first calibration. I shook my head, exasperated but secretly impressed. And all I did was poke, twist, adjust, and keep my hands steady. That's it. No ceremony, no protocol, just human stubbornness. Her ears twitched, tail curling slightly. Your hands. Your timing. Your persistence. You are extraordinary. The galaxy itself is more stable now because of you. I muttered under my breath, checking readings again. Every system perfectly aligned, yet my stomach sank under the weight of what I'd done. Great. I fixed a dying alien, now I run the galaxy. Perfect. She stepped closer, brushing her fingers along my arm. More than just running it. You are co-ruler. Operator. Primary stabilizer. My choice. My test. My reward. I swallowed, trying to keep calm. Reward? Sounds more like a full-time job. Her smile widened, teasing, deliberately ambiguous. You'll see. And perhaps, enjoy it. I exhaled slowly, gripping my tools again. Well, if I'm going to do this, I'd better not mess it up. She hummed in response, low and approving. Mess it up? Impossible. You are perfect for this. I glanced around at the station, now fully alive, the galaxy responding subtly to my adjustments, the Vulpine standing beside me, a calm and controlled presence, and muttered, I guess humans really are made for the impossible. She purred, tail flicking lazily. Made for me. Made for this. Made for everything. I groaned, rolling up my sleeves. Everything, huh? Guess I'd better get used to it. Her smile lingered, sharp and knowing, like she had been waiting centuries for someone exactly like me to arrive. I adjusted the final stabilizer, monitoring core output, noticing that everything now hummed perfectly in sync. The station's energy grid pulsed under my hands, responsive and alive, like a system that had been dormant for millennia suddenly discovering purpose. I exhaled, trying to calm the adrenaline that had been simmering since I found her. You realize, she said softly, voice teasing, that you now hold more control than most species could dream of in a lifetime? I blinked, wincing. You're telling me all this was my doing? Her ears twitched, tail flicking lazily. Not just your doing. Your intuition, your touch, your persistence. The galaxy responds because of you. Every system I oversee now acknowledges your input. You're indispensable. I rubbed my neck, trying to keep my tone casual. Indispensable, huh? Sounds like a promotion I didn't ask for. You didn't ask for it. She purred. But you earned it. Few could stabilize me, fewer still the station, and none the protocols I oversee. Humans are surprising in their capabilities. I shook my head, smirking despite the weight of it all. Surprising? That's one way to put it. I'd call it stubbornness, improvisation, and a complete lack of fear for malfunctioning tech. Her smile widened, faint amusement in her amber eyes. Exactly. Humans are built for handling what others fear, tolerating what others avoid, and stabilizing what others destroy. You are exceptional. I leaned against the console, trying to process the implications. Exceptional at fixing broken alien machinery. Got it. That's a skill I can list on my resume. She stepped closer, brushing a hand along my shoulder as she inspected the final readouts. Resume? Your contributions are far beyond documentation. They echo through the systems, through the networks, through the stations. You have changed the course of everything. I exhaled, gripping the tools loosely. Changed the course of everything? Great. Just when I thought fixing a dying alien couldn't get weirder. Her ears tilted forward, and she purred low, a vibration that ran along her suit's systems. Weirder? Perhaps. Exciting? Certainly. Necessary? Absolutely. You have ensured stability where none could exist. And done so without hesitation, without doubt, without fear. I rubbed my hands together, trying to shake off the overwhelming weight. I just followed instinct, kept my hands steady, applied the right pressure. That's it. No ceremony. No sacred rituals. Just work. Work? She repeated, voice teasing. You call co-stabilizing the galaxy work? Humans are delightfully understated. I muttered, glancing at the now fully operational monitors. Yeah, understatement's my specialty. Until someone yells at me for accidentally ruling half the systems. Her tail curled around a console leg, slow and deliberate. Accidentally? Perhaps. But perfectly. You are now my operator, co-ruler by protocol, stabilizer by design. No one else could have done this. I groaned, rubbing the back of my neck. Great. Just me and the entire galaxy. No pressure. Pressure? She said softly, leaning close. You thrive under it. That's why you were chosen. That's why humans are exceptional. You handle what others cannot. You endure what others cannot. You persist where others fail. I gave a dry laugh. Endure, persist, improvise, yeah, sounds like a normal Tuesday for me. Her ears twitched, eyes gleaming with something that bordered on amusement and admiration. Tuesday? For you, perhaps. For the galaxy, this is monumental. Every system, every protocol, every safeguard, now aligned because of you. I exhaled slowly, gripping my tools and scanning the fully synchronized station. Well, if I'm going to accidentally co-rule a galaxy, I'd better make sure nothing explodes on my watch. She purred low, tail flicking lazily. Explosions are unnecessary when you are involved. You have brought order, stability, and delight. I blinked, letting that hang. Delight? That's a new one. Her lips curved into a small, sharp smile. Indeed. You are more than just functional. You are influential. Powerful, capable, and entirely human. I shook my head, still half in disbelief. Capable of fixing a suit, stabilizing systems, and apparently managing entire civilizations. Got it. That's me. Just your average human engineer. Her eyes glimmered with amusement and approval. Average? Hardly. You are extraordinary. But refreshingly human. That is what makes all the difference. I exhaled, flexing my fingers over the tools one last time. Extraordinary, huh? Well, I guess I'd better get used to it. She leaned back, tail flicking once more, relaxed and satisfied, letting the weight of the galaxy settle entirely on my inexperienced but capable human shoulders. Get used to it, yes. And perhaps enjoy it. I muttered under my breath, shaking my head with a grin. Enjoy it? Sure. Let's see how long that lasts before something blows up. Her low hum of approval reverberated around the station, the lights pulsing gently in response to her contentment. I flexed my hands again over the panels, already anticipating the next adjustment, the next tweak, the next small test of my human adaptability. You are indispensable, she said softly, voice teasing, tail curling around the stabilizer rod. I smirked, rolling up my sleeves and gripping my tools firmly. Indispensable, huh? Perfect. Just another day at the office. She purred close enough that I could feel it resonate through the suit. Yes. Another day. And many more to come. I hope you are ready. I exhaled, leaning into my work, steady hands moving over delicate conduits and panels, a human among incomprehensible technology, suddenly at the center of everything. Ready? I was born ready. Let's see how long I can keep this from going sideways. Her eyes glimmered, approving, amused, predatory, and playful all at once. Do not fail, human, or I shall be disappointed. I chuckled, shaking my head, tightening a final coupling. Disappointment isn't in my repertoire. Just occasional chaos. But that's handled too. She purred again, and the station, the suit, the galaxy itself seemed to settle under my steady human hands. I muttered, well, I guess this is officially my life now. Her tail flicked lazily, brushing my leg. Yes. Life. And much more pleasure and responsibility. I sighed, gripping the tools, smiling under the weight of the unexpected. Pleasure, responsibility, chaos, sounds about right. Humans, huh? She chuckled softly, leaning back, letting me take full command of everything I had accidentally inherited. Humans indeed. Perfectly capable. And utterly unpredictable.